I had a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, top floor condo in Anne Arundel County. It was well maintained, had some renovations. We had initially listed it at 324,999, and we felt good about that list price. It was within the comps that we had researched before listing the property. And in the initial listing appointment, I had flagged the smoke smell that there was in the condo unit. So that was flagged and pointed out before we ever went live. We took some measures to try to make sure that that smoke smell was as eliminated as possible, was eliminated. Unfortunately, it improved, but it was not eliminated by the time that we went live. Um, and what we later found was that there was another smoker in the building. It was a neighbor below our cellar, our unit. And one thing about living in condos and apartments, generally speaking, you will take on a lot of the smells that come from your neighbors, right? If they're cooking food with a harsh smell, if they're smokers, generally that will permeate through the walls. And that's just something that you have to go into purchasing or selling a condo knowing, right? So we finally went live. We were able to tamp the smell down. We had showings. There was interest. However, one thing that a rule that I like to follow is if you are not getting activity or showings, if you're not getting interest, if you're not getting offers within 10 to 14 days, which in my mind is the sweet spot when a property hits the market, something's wrong. And it could have something to do with your pricing. It could have something to do with your marketing. Maybe your marketing isn't as effective as you hope, or maybe your pricing isn't where it should be. We received the feedback from the buyers who were seeing the property, and they kept referring back to the smell in the property. And so that was um, where our issue uh, arose, so to speak. Um, so we continued on. We addressed this. We talked to the seller about this. Uh, we stated that we should make some changes. The seller was reluctant to do anything at this point. So this is the month mark. Slowing showed down, and a few days later, I was able to talk my client into making an adjustment on the price. Uh, Once we made that adjustment on the price, showings picked up, interest came back, and eventually we received our first offer. The offer was a low ball; it was 300,000, but the seller was not happy, understandably so, and they did not want to accept this offer. So, discussing their options, we decided to counter, and we were able to negotiate the buyer up to a sales price of 315, which is where we ratified. So basically, the seller did not have to give any concessions. We were able to close. The buyer was able to obtain financing. The appraisal came in fine, and we felt good about that 315 price because what I later found out was that there was another unit that was almost almost the same as our unit, and it closed at 315 as well. Um, there are some other properties that have not, other condos that have, as of the date of this video, there are some condos that have still not sold in that same area, and they're well above where we decided that we would ratify. Um, just to look at the numbers, we had initially listed at 324,999. we were on the market for 72 days total. We dropped the price to 317, received an offer at 300, was able to negotiate it up to 315. We were able to close the deal. What is the takeaway from this particular case study? The takeaway is this: the market will always speak to you and tell you what is going on and how it has received your property. If you are not receiving any feedback, if you're getting showings but no offers, that's information. If you're not getting showings, you're not going to get offers. That's information. If you're getting showings, you're getting offers, but the offers are around a certain price point and you're at another price point, that's information as well. So all of this information and data that the market is telling you, as the seller, in my opinion, you need to listen and listen early. If you listen too late, it's going to cost you time, money. You still have to pay the mortgage on that house until it sells. You still have to pay the utilities on that property until it sells. So if you are in a dire situation where you have to sell by a certain timeline, you have to sell, by a certain date, you need to take into consideration all of the information that the market is telling you. And the market will speak to you whether you listen or not. It just takes a listening ear and a willingness to adjust.